Good morning. Time to make the coffee. Back to the rice coffee today. Coffee substitute. I've talked about this many times before. It's a mushroom coffee. I drink that when my stomach is starting to act up. So that's what I'll be drinking for a little bit. Anyway, today is we're supposed to have lots of sun, and it's supposed to be 78 degrees. Sounds like a great day to me. So I'll have to get out into my garden. I really, really would like to get that garden finished within the next week or two because, the weather is starting to turn colder at night, and I want to get it done before the cold weather sets in. That way in the spring I won't have to do so much work. So I'd rather do it now. And there's still quite a bit to do out there. But I've been working on it when I can. So, we move upward and onward. Some of the things that I had planned to put out in the garden didn't get out there this year because I was too busy redoing some things that needed to be done. So I do have an association here, so I can't just have a junkyard back there. I have to keep it relatively neat. So that's the way it goes. I don't want to borrow trouble out there and have them on my case all the time. So anyway, that way in the spring it won't look terrible. Last spring it looked pretty bad because of the winter and I hadn't finished what I wanted to do in the fall, so I had to finish it in the spring. But I'm trying to get ahead and stay ahead of the game a little bit. So, and in the spring too, I want to have my deck done, which was postponed. It was supposed to be done this month, but the fellow that's doing my deck was inundated with roofing jobs because of a tornado that went through our area. But that's okay because it turned out all right. The leak in my basement, the water leak, turned out to be a mess down there. So it's a good thing I'm not having the deck done right now too and adding to that expense because the basement leak needs to be fixed ASAP. So always something. My poor house is falling apart. I didn't have any problems really at all with the house. I built this house, or had it built, 21 years ago and never had much problem with it. There was a time where Hurricane Sandy came all the way up here and we did have flooding in the basement. So, but that got taken care of through the insurance. So I'm going to see if the insurance might pay for this leak to have it fixed. I'll have somebody come out and take a look at it. And I do have somebody that's going to be fixing it, so that's not a problem. And right now the hot water is turned off, and that's what was leaking. So that could have been a big, huge expense if I hadn't caught that. But right now I don't have hot water in the kitchen sink, which I could heat water on the stove and use that to wash dishes because I can't use my dishwasher or my washing machine, but I can use cold water in the washing machine, which is what I usually use anyway. So anyhow, that's my tale of woe about the plumbing. Plumbing problems and electrical problems are always expensive. And the thing is, when you're on a low income, if you have enough money to cover everything, that's fine. But when you're on a low income, even if you have an emergency stash of money for fixing things, sometimes what happens is, things need your attention all at once, and you can use that money up very quickly, and then it's pretty difficult to build that I don't know, what do they call those, sinking funds? It's pretty hard to build those back up. So that is the issue when you don't have a lot of money. You're always robbing Peter to pay Paul, because there's not enough to go around for everybody and everything. So anyway, I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that issue yourselves. And I am trying to remain debt-free, but it's difficult. So I filled this a little too much. Cheers. So I'll take a sip. Oh, that feels good this morning. It's not that warm. It's been going down into the upper 40s and the lower 50s outside at night, which tells me I got to get moving with that garden. So, but today should be a nice day. Tomorrow's going to be 80. That'll be a good day to work in the garden. But then Thursday, which is going to be a nice day too, I'm probably going to have to go over my mom's. She's going to be having some therapy, and I want to be there when they come. So anyway, that's it for my coffee chat this morning, and I will meet you over there at the budget book. Okay, here I am back at the budget book. Well, yesterday I did spend money. I've been trying to get things for my prepper stash. So I went to Dollar Tree, and I also ordered a couple of things online for if the power goes out. And I know some people are thinking, oh, grid down, there's going to be a cyber attack, which could very well happen. But I'm thinking more of power outages from storms, winds, rain, those sorts of things, where I know a lot of people have had power outages, and we just had one recently. Ours was during the night. I don't even know why. We didn't have any storms or anything, but we had a power outage. And I know my son, when the tornado went through, his area had a power outage for like 2 or 3 days. So, those are the things that I'm preparing for. I'm not in a panic mode or anything like that, but I just want to make sure that I'm comfortable if that happens. So I'm very seriously on the hunt now for a generator, which I'd like to keep it under $1,500 if possible, and I want a solar generator. I know in the wintertime we don't get a whole lot of sun. We get a whole lot of snow usually, but we do have sunny days, and with a solar generator you can charge it just as well from an electrical outlet. So if you keep it charged, you'll have it ready, and you don't have to run it constantly if you're trying to keep your food frozen. You can run it intermittently, run it for a bit, and then hopefully the power will come back on, and then you can recharge your solar generator. And I'm looking for one that's expandable if I need to, but I'd at least like to run my freezer And I don't need to run my big stove or oven because I have small appliances for that. So I'm covered there. But anyway, that's why I'm making sure that I have what I need. I don't want to be sitting around in the dark eating oatmeal for 3 meals a day, for any outage. And there's places where power has been out for a couple weeks or more because the power companies just don't have the manpower to fix it all. And I know my ex-husband worked for the electric company, and they used to send the guys out of town to wherever the power outages were because they didn't have enough people in their area to fix the grid. So I'm not going to be foolish. I'm not overstocking what I have. I'll be able to use it up, but I want enough. Like I said, I don't need to store food for 25 years. I don't even need to store food for 10 years. At that point, it's going to be, pretty dire if you have to eat from a food stash for that long. Not that it couldn't happen. I mean, you have to think about, look at how many millions of people have died around the globe because of famine, because of disasters that have happened, because of bad government. The Russians, the Chinese, all those people have implemented some really bad government. And so I just want to be prepared. At least, for me, I'm older, so I know I'm not going to live forever. So I at least want to be comfortable in my old age. I don't want to, if you think I'm spoiled, that's fine too. I don't care. But, I want to be somewhat comfortable in my older years. So that's my thought process. There's no panic. There's none of that. But I do want to be mindful of what I'm getting and think ahead a little bit about things that I can get that aren't super expensive, other than the generator. That's going to be expensive. But, sometimes it's little things that you have that will enable you to maintain a certain level of comfort. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be comfortable. I don't want to be cold and freezing. I don't want to be hungry. I don't want my family to be hungry. In a situation like that, I would share everything I have with my family, although my oldest son, he's a big-time prepper. He has a lot of food stashed, and he says the same thing. If the family needs it, he's going to provide it. So between the two of us, I think we'll be able to at least survive as a family. So anyway, enough of that. So hopefully within a week or two, I'll get myself a generator before the cold weather sets in. I know there's been times here where things have happened and basements were flooded, like I said, during Katrina, when the hurricane came far up north. You couldn't find a generator anywhere, and I don't want to be that person. So, all right, my friends, do what you can with what you can afford. Build it up slowly, but get started if that's your goal. And if you don't think you want to go that route, that's okay with me too, But my provisions will be allocated for my family. And I think most people feel that way too. What was that story? the grasshopper and the ant. I don't remember. But anyway, it's something along those lines. All right, well, I have to get dressed and go do a little work in my garden and hopefully make some progress today. Right, well, this morning I'm cooking my dinner, and I have some powdered milk here. Actually, my mom gave me that. She wasn't using it. It's from Aldi's. They're Friendly Farms. I want to start using that. And this would be a meal that you could make if there's, a situation where the grid is down or something. Now, I'm using my electric stove, but if you had another form of cooking available to you, I had a pepper from the garden here that I wanted to use up. So I cut that up and put that in there, and I'm just pre-boiling that. And this calls for 2 1/3 cups of milk. So I'm just going to use the powdered milk along with that. And then I had bought mushrooms that I had cooked up yesterday. So I'm making a mushroom stroganoff. And I may end up adding some TVP to this as well, textured vegetable protein, but I'm not sure about that. But it's all foods that you can keep in a stash. The peppers, you could use dehydrated peppers. I just happen to have a fresh pepper, so that's what I'm using. But with the milk and the stroganoff skillet mix, that's from Dollar Tree. I've never tried it before, so I don't know how the flavor is. But there's a meal that you could come up with if you're cooking from your prepper pantry stash. So I'm going to let this cook and follow the directions on the package, and then we'll see what it looks like. So I added everything to the pot. I'm going to cover it now and let it simmer for 10 minutes until the pasta is tender. Right, I've decided to add some TVP, textured vegetable protein. I keep this in my stash. It's Bob's Red Mill. You can get it almost anywhere, and online too. I have this, it's actually an empty container of no beef, better than bouillon, but I added water to it, and I've been storing that in the fridge just to get everything out of there because it's expensive and I want to use it all up. So in here I have some water, some no beef base, and I also added some salt-free garlic and herb seasoning. And it's hot, and I added I'm going to add the TVP to that now, about 1/3 cup. And there's about 1/3 cup, half a cup of water in there. I'm going to stir this up and return it to the microwave a couple of times after stirring it and let it rehydrate, and then I'm going to add it to my stroganoff along with the mushrooms that I cooked. The TVP is done, and what I usually do is after it's rehydrated, I return it to the microwave for 3 or 4 minutes in 1 minute increments, and I stir it up. It makes it chewier, otherwise it's a little on the mushy side. So I just put it in for a minute, stir it, put it in for another minute, and you have to taste it and see when it's right for you. So this is how it looks. This is how I like it, and all the flavor has been incorporated into the TVP. And then here I have the mushrooms from yesterday that are already seasoned, and I'm just waiting for my pasta to be done, and I'll add that to my pasta. And I have some sour cream in the refrigerator that I want to use up. Totally optional. This already has sour cream in it, but I'd like a little bit more of that flavor. So I'm going to add another dollop of sour cream once this is all heated up. You don't want to boil sour cream, so you just kind of add it at the last time. So, and you can also add a small can of peas and carrots to this. That would be good for a little extra protein and vegetables. You can add anything you want, just carrots. You don't have to add anything. I added the pepper because I had it, and the mushrooms because I have them, but actually the stroganoff is a complete meal the way it is. It's sort of like a hamburger helper kind of thing. So, you know, especially in emergency situations, you want to use your imagination to make your food taste good. You don't want to be eating oatmeal every day, 3 times a day. So, anyway, that's what I think. You know, you want to keep your meals balanced, even in an emergency situation. And if you happen to have a garden, you can go pick some fresh produce, some lettuce, some kale, whatever you have out there. All right. I'll be back once my meal is all right. Well, everything's all heated up and cooked up. I'm adding the sour cream to it that I want to use up. You could add yogurt or cream cheese to it too if you have extra that you want to use up. You can do all kinds of things to doctor up this meal. I added a little bit of extra water because I'm not going to eat this till tonight. And the pasta will soak up a lot of the liquid. So I'm going to give this a taste and see if it's palatable. Get a little bit of everything. Okay, let's give it a try. That's actually pretty good. So there we go. A meal using food from the stash. And it's very tasty. And didn't take long to make. So there we go. Just a meal idea. Out here in my garden trying to assess what I'd like to work on. And I want to work on this area here. There's a lot of weeds and things down there that I need to empty out. So I'll be working on that. My little lettuces are doing really well. They planted themselves, so thank you, God, for planting me lettuce. And then I also want to work on this over here. I have a city picker box, and I want to put that on a stand and empty some of my containers, some of the pots that I want to get rid of. I'm going to put the dirt in here. So this will be up on a stand the same way as these will be. So yeah, it's this part is still messy. I need to clear all this out here. And there's a big pot in there that has a blueberry bush, but it's got a bunch of weeds in there. So lots of weeding to do now. And that'll be my garden project for today. And hopefully I can get that done. And then one other area that I have that needs to be cleaned up is over here. Hello, Miss Chloe. Are you enjoying the day? It's going to be a nice day today. Nice weather. So over here, this looks terrible. I need to get, oh hello, there's my shadow. Me and my shadow. This over here I need to get the weed whacker out for. because it looks terrible too. So, but that won't take long, but I probably won't get to that today. The clematis is still blooming, but part of it is dead, so before winter sets in, I'm going to cut this way back and it can regrow next year. So that's my project for today in the garden. And it's not too terribly horrendous, but it needs work. So, all right, I'm going to go in and get dressed and come back out and get something done. Well, I got enough done out here today that I can sit out here now. It's nowhere near done, but I did make a lot of progress today. And I have to put cardboard down yet and mulch and make it so that I can sit out here and then the dogs can run around in this area. I still have to do the fencing, so that'll take some time, but I want to get all this done first. And I think I'm going to have to enlist my strong and healthy grandsons one more time to help me finish up. Not a big project, just moving a couple more planter boxes. And then, hopefully, I'm done. So next year should be easier. Just maintenance and planting my vegetable garden and my flower garden. So I think it'll be very nice out here. I can have a cookout, even if it's just with my neighbor. We can have a cookout, or the family can come over, and there's plenty of places to sit and hang out and just relax. I can sit out here and have a glass of wine. I can sit on the deck and have a glass of wine. So this is my vacation spot. This backyard is my vacation spot. I don't need to go anywhere else. I'm fine just here, and I enjoy my garden. So, all right, my friends, I will be back in a couple minutes. I'm going to go take a nice shower and relax. Well, I'm glad I made dinner early. Now I don't have to fool around with that. And cooking dinner early in the morning before it's really too cold to go out and do anything works pretty well for me. And that way, when I'm really bushed at the end of the day, I don't have to fool around with making dinner, because I wouldn't want to make dinner. And it helps me to eat better, because otherwise I'd just be sticking stuff in my mouth just to alleviate the hunger. So, yeah, I have a few more prepping things coming in the mail, Amazon. I should get a couple of those today. And I bought a weeder to pull weeds where you don't have to bend over. So, I mean, the weeds in the back garden, I can't use it on those because, you know, they're under picker boxes and all that. So that I have to get down there and pull the weeds. But I have a lot of weeds in my front flower garden bed that need to be pulled out. And I'm hoping this device makes it easier. So, yep, I'm gathering things for my old age because it's approaching fast. And I figured that at some point when I can't maintain things anymore, before I get to the point where I can't deal with it anymore, I'll make changes. So even if I had to pull out everything in my back garden, and you know, I can do that and just plant grass, and then the association mowers can deal with it. So that was anyway my plan when I moved here into this house years ago, and I set up the garden, and I've enjoyed it. I really have, and I still enjoy it. But I need to make it a little bit more compact and a little easier to take care of. And the same goes with everything as you get older. You just kind of need to make adjustments, you know, because we all want to be comfortable and we all want to live a happy life. And constant struggle doesn't make for a happy life. It just doesn't. So anyway, that's all I have for you today, my friends. I want to wish you abundant blessings. I love you guys. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, and like. It helps my channel grow. Don't forget to share, and thanks for watching.